Hi everyone and welcome to our channel Balkan Walk 66. This is an English version of the questions and answers video. Это же видео доступно на русском и оно доступно по ссылке выше. For this same video in Russian, please see a video at the link above. Today's episode will be titled Answers to Questions. Over the past year, somehow, people considered me some kind of expert and started asking things like how and what to choose and how to set things up. So I'll try to answer. I'll say right away that I'm a beginner longboarder. My main discipline is called cruising, which is just riding around the city with two small peculiarities. The city is called Belgrade and it's constantly hills up and down. And I also really love pumping, so my main riding is commuting or just some kind of recreational activity. That is for myself, for health, without any records. But nevertheless, I still manage to cover quite large distances without pushing off the asphalt with my foot. I know how to ride uphill well, and I know how to foot brake and sometimes go downhill without foot braking. And also I sometimes know how to set it all up so that it pumps. And in general I feel okay even on long distances. Our distances can be, let's say, from 15 to 50 kilometers in a row. That's what we actually ride here. We try to create a longboarding community here. The link to our Telegram group is in the description of this video. And there we have different people, diverse audience living in the Balkans, mostly Russian-speaking, Serb-speaking, English-speaking, so everyone. And we sometimes ride together, discuss things, sometimes just show off and so on. So about the questions. I often get questions on YouTube, I'm tired of answering them, and I'm recording this video so that later on in the future I can refer to what I'm saying here and just provide a link to a particular episode. Perhaps I will divide the questions into several categories. The first category will be called general questions, like generally about riding, about boards, about everything else. About some comparison of setups and other things. And then there will be board-specific stuff about the supersonic, lap skate, vanguard. And separately we'll talk about choosing boards. Well, Pantheon Supersonic, Lapskate LDP and Loaded Vanguard. These are my three boards that I ride regularly. In total we have 6 at home. My wife also has 2 boards. There's the Pantheon Pranayama, which I also of course ride sometimes, and zajednica, a small cruiser. Well, and we have a guest board, which I can use to practice with some of my students or just let someone ride who doesn't have their own board. By the way, if you're in Belgrade and want to learn to ride, let me know, join our Telegram group or get in touch with me personally. We'll sort out that question with you. Okay, let's go. So the general section concerning the urban environment. I have a rather large video, which I recorded about 8 months ago, about how a longboarder can generally survive in Belgrade. Well, using Belgrade as an example, it describes a fairly typical European city, quite large, which is located on not entirely flat terrain, and in which there are hills. And Belgrade has one advantage compared to other cities. It is quite well adapted for bicycle traffic in its center. There are bike paths, despite the fact that in many places they are simply marked on the sidewalk, but there are also dedicated bike paths. Drivers who, although they don't really like those wheeled brotherhood, but nevertheless are quite used to it and in general do not show any particular aggression. On the contrary, if I am going against the flow, where I need to squeeze through somewhere, they gladly let me pass. Unfortunately, with other cities I can't directly compare Belgrade in terms of riding, because simply I only ride in Belgrade. Of course, in other cities in Serbia, but only in this country. I just have no experience riding in other countries, specifically on a longboard. But I have a lot of experience riding a bicycle and roller skis. And I can say that it's cool here that there is the kind of mutual respect on the road, despite the fact that drivers drive quite chaotically and quite fast, sometimes recklessly. But let's say I haven't had a single incident in all this time where someone had something specifically against me. At most, they might honk if you've taken someone's lane. Well, sorry. So that's regarding traffic. I know there are cities with the traffic is just crazy and people don't feel safe just going out on anything other than a huge steel car body. Well, in principle, I can understand that. As a former cyclist who used to ride tens of thousands of kilometers a year around Moscow on road bikes and mountain bikes, and I can say that, guys, generally everywhere it's more or less the same. Well, there are probably countries that are completely poorly adapted for movement outside of a car. There are those that are better. In Serbia, it's quite good with this. In some places, there's a good sidewalk. In some places, there's a bike path. In some places, there's a possibility to just ride on the road, choose some kind of detour, and so on. And in some places, there are even bike paths outside the city, just along the highway. Another question about the attitude of local residents. There are countries and cities where, well, people don't have a very good attitude, let's be honest, especially towards scooter riders, kick scooter and electric scooter. They're considered the worst enemies. This is generally accepted position among skaters and longboarders in these countries, which surprises me greatly because, in my opinion, they differ very little from scooter riders. 100-kilogram man moving at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour can easily break your ribs. I understand that a scooter can go faster, but I doubt many of them ride super fast on sidewalks. And knowledge of traffic laws, that's probably a common problem that exists everywhere. Those who don't drive a car, they don't look very good on the road. They are unpredictable, they are chaotic, they are dangerous to those around them. So as for Belgrade, here local residents generally have a very positive attitude towards longboarding. They call it skateboarding. Relatively few people here in the mass understand that there are completely different sports equipment. And when I overtake someone very quickly, some cyclists, many of them can't understand where I have a motor and why the longboard is going so fast. How can a skateboard even go fast? Well, I've received feedback from other cities, for example, like Tbilisi, where there are a lot of dogs. There is, I would have never thought that a dog could become an obstacle to your riding. Well, as it turns out, it can. Serbia is also a dog country. There are dogs everywhere here, and you can generally go almost anywhere with them here, except perhaps some places like grocery stores, because the sanitary control and regulations are on duty. Where else might they not let me in with a dog? I don't know, maybe some hospital, emergency room, something like that. To all other places, shopping centers, stores, restaurants, cafes, you can calmly go in with your pet. Nobody has any problems. Many put out bowls of water when it's hot so that the animals can drink. But in general, there are no problems with this here. I received feedback from Mexico City that the traffic there is so crazy that people are simply afraid to go out on the road. In this regard, again, it's quite calm here in Belgrade. Let's move on. Now the questions regarding riding in switch stands and pushing Mongo. I believe that if you ride a lot in an urban environment and generally love long distance, not just ride 500 meters from your entrance for beer, the Mongo or switch stands are your main friends. And I learned to perform Mongo push more or less confidently and with good efficiency. So when I did this, it became a killer feature for me. That is, I started to ride up on chill, without any muscle problems, without muscle fatigue, on all the Belgrade hills. I learned to change legs on the go, jumping, and in general it helped me to not lose momentum when changing legs. It's very cool. Perhaps this year I will also try to master riding in switch stance. In general, Mongo push or switch push is something that I really consider a must-have. If you have even slightly long distances and if you have even slightly hilly terrain. People ask me where we get our boards. For example, someone in Sweden writes that they don't sell anything like that. Yeah, guys, probably all over Europe we buy from SIG boards, various others, like just passing through, and concrete waves, if I remember correctly, too. Basically, we have a list of stores in Telegram that successfully ship to us. I have experience ordering from America also. I order bushings directly from Riptide. Loaded sent me a board directly under warranty, and also Chinese stores. With them, though, the overpayment is sometimes quite large due to the fact that there are some peculiarities with payment and customs. What is your favorite board for pumping? Basically, all three of my boards pump, and I love all three of them. People here ask me to sell something when they see me on the street. I have so many boards, so why don't I just sell some of them to some guys? I usually answer, of course, no. I ride all of them, and that's the situation. Okay, if I want to ride on bike path in the park, I want to pump a lot and maintain speeds, then I take the lap skate LDP. I'll talk probably about it later in the next section. If it's the city riding where there will be some curbs, tiles, stones, bad asphalt, pedestrians, I'll have to step off the board periodically, I'll have to ride uphill and downhill a lot, but at the same time I still want to pump on the straights and so on. Then it will definitely be the Supersonic, because it's super comfortable, pumps amazingly, very fast when assembled correctly, and behaves simply wonderfully. This is probably the best board. If someone pointed a gun at me and said, like, at gunpoint, which board would you keep? The only one out of all yours that you have at all. I would definitely say the Pantheon Supersonic in its current setup. I don't need anything else. If you only have the choice of one board, take the Supersonic for the city. Yes, you can't of course do any tricks on it, jumping somewhere, all that, forget about it. But in terms of convenience and relative compactness, it's in my opinion a mega super board. And the price tag is very good. The next board is loaded Vanguard. It pumps very cool, and I pump it when I'm sad, or when I'm riding with a large group of people, boarders, and I don't want to go too fast. Because naturally, if I ride an LDP and everyone else rides their cruisers, dancers, there are many of them here, or surf skates, I will ride too fast. Even if I push with 1 foot once a minute, I will still overtake everyone. Therefore, with the Vanguard, if I want to pump, I can absolutely do it. But it won't be super fast, it will be very fun, it's like a couch. So, question about McFly. Honestly, for several years I only rode McFly 86mm wheels. They were on my Pantheon Supersonic for a year and a half, and they were on my lap skate for about 6 months. I consider them excellent wheels, but there was some kind of bad story there with the company. Someone screwed over someone not got along very well with someone else in terms of business, and therefore the European American community says that you shouldn't buy McFly because of that. But if you are just looking for wheels that are inexpensive, and they are inexpensive, something around 80 euros, I think, for a set of 4, then they are very cool wheels. They have one big drawback. They don't grip on wet asphalt. Wet markings, wet asphalt. If you start slightly lose grip either by pumping or carving, they will instantly slide. I've tried it, it's really painful, don't do this. They just instantly lose grip and that's it. But on dry asphalt, on dry cement, on dry concrete, on dry markings, on dry tile stones, I have never managed to make them slide, even with hard pumping. They've got excellent grip on the dry. At the same time, they roll quite well, like an 8 out of 10. And they are very comfortable, that's probably the main advantage. Oh, and they are very reliable. I have a pair of wheels that have gone 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers and they are doing fine. They just chip a little bit. I glue them, reglue them, but they are not that expensive in principle, and every couple of years you can buy yourself a new set. I have 2 sets on 2 boards and I find them great. But of course, if you probably need speed at the expense of a little comfort, then it will most likely be other wheels. Personally, in that case, if I need speed, I prefer Seismic Megawatts Mint, I think C76A. They are of the maximum hardness. They are less comfortable than McFly wheels, but at the same time they are very fast. They are much faster. Well, it's probably incorrectly to say much, but let's put it this way. If McFly is 8 out of 10 for speed, then Seismic Megawatts are 10 out of 10. These are my fastest wheels so far. They are currently on my Supersonic and they also pump great. I also tested speed vents from Seismic, but those are wheels for slightly different boards. If someone likes a smaller size, like 85 millimeters in diameter, then probably speed vents are one of the fastest wheels I've also tried. They are faster than Kegels, they are faster than, what else do we have? They are faster than McFlys, probably. Basically great wheels, you can also get them right away. But the prices for Seismics are significantly higher. Megawatts cost twice as much, speed vents about 1.5 times as much as McFlys. So everything has a compromise. With our shipping and customs, the price for Seismics easily turns into 200 euros, just like that. That's a pity. Regarding my videos where we just ride and don't do any tricks, there are also comments here. People say thank you because we're old men. Our bones heal very poorly. I injured my leg a week ago playing tennis, and through my own absolute stupidity I stepped on a ball that I didn't pick up. So guys, always pick up tennis balls from the court. Always, always, always. So during the match I stepped on the ball and stretched my leg so badly that I couldn't ride for a week and didn't even walk much. It just completely threw me out of balance. It turns out that having the opportunity to be engaged in physical activity evenly without all these injuries and so on is a super big happiness when you are already 40 plus. So guys, I will never jump, I will never do anything more complicated than some kind of Peter Pan, because I just feel sorry for myself. By the way, hi to Berlin. Also people ask, so I haven't yet perfected my pumping, I push well, I can carve, foot brake, but when I pump I constantly slow down, but I still like it. In general, people, from time to time people ask for some resources on how to learn to pump and so on. Guys, I'll be honest, I don't know. That's a good video by Vlad Popov. It's probably about 15 years old now. Anyway, it's very old, shot in 360p. It's without words, but it shows the basic pumping techniques. But using a slalom board, for example. So I don't know if that will suit you or not, but in general you can probably try it. And I don't know, unfortunately, any good pumping tutorial videos, any other videos except Vlad's. I've probably watched all that were on the internet. Some people explain very basic things that are already obvious. Some explain for a long time, using too many words, but not much is clear from their explanations. So probably apart from Vlad Popov, I won't be able to name anyone else who might teach. Regarding dogs, we've already talked about it. For a longboarder, dogs are quite dangerous animals because they can suddenly jump under the wheels just like children. Always go around several meters away from children as far as possible. A child who is standing with their back to you and suddenly decides to run in front of you without seeing you is the kind of thing you simply won't be able to predict. And the only way to avoid an accident is to go around or brake in advance. It's the same with dogs. You need to understand that a dog has several reasons to run after you or run in front of you, and most often it has nothing to do with that kind of canine aggression when it wants to kill and eat you. Most often it's a simple hunting instinct, some kind of game, and very rarely territorial aggression and hardly ever food aggression. That is, it's something you just have to understand. If you drive away from it, it will run after you. If it wasn't taught properly, of course, and if its owner is stupid. My dogs have never run after anyone who drives away or runs away from them. It's a matter of dog's training. But if you see a dog wagging and barking behind you, it's better to slow down. In the worst case, again, it will dart under your wheels or nip you on the heel. Most often it's not traumatic, but it can tear your pants probably. So just basically slow down. If you feel something running after you, better foot brake and pet the animal. What do you think about Kegels? Orangutan Kegel 80mm wheels. I think they are wonderful wheels for their applications. If you don't want to put wheels larger than 80mm on some cruiser or longboard, for example, you can't put speed vans because you'd have to use some spacers, raise something and so on. Then Kegels are a great option. They are the stock wheels on many wonderful boards such as loaded Icarus, loaded Vanguard. Absolutely amazing wheels, I really like them, but they, well, they have one drawback. They don't go much faster than 20 kilometers per hour. Well, if you go downhill, of course they do, but as soon as you start to accelerate them, you will feel them resisting you. I don't know if this is related to their relatively small diameter, the urethane construction or something else, but out of all my wheels, they are the slowest. And they slow down the most as soon as you start going fast. There is, I honestly tried them on the Supersonic, on the loaded Icarus, on the loaded Vanguard, and if on the Vanguard and Icarus they feel absolutely wonderful, but there are no high speeds there, then on something like the Supersonic they are definitely slow it down. Let me clarify, the bearings were absolutely identical, I just changed the boards. We also tried them on a Pantheon trip, again, the same impression. The wheels ride well in their speed range, like from 5 to 15 kilometers per hour. They are very easy to accelerate, they pump wonderfully. But as soon as your speed becomes 20 to 25 kilometers per hour, that's kind of their limit. They delaminate quite quickly on bad asphalt surfaces. Be ready to glue them if you ride a lot on all sorts of tiles, cobblestones and so on. Probably this will be the first video, the most general one that I will record. Next time we'll probably record about Supersonic, Lap Skate, Vanguard separately, because there are also many things to talk about regarding them. And that's all for today. Ciao everyone!